This is Jarvis Leatherby from the heavy metal band NIGHTDEMON. You're listening to Metal Mayhem ROC with John, Vernomatic, Verno, and Southern Cal.
Our guest today has definitely flown the flag of traditional heavy metal for well over 2 decades. His band NIGHTDEMON set to release their third full-length EP or LP called Outsider on March 17th. Welcome back to the show, Jarvis Leatherby of NIGHTDEMON. Jarvis, welcome back, buddy.
Hey, good to see you guys.
I'd like you to say hello to our co-host tonight, Southern Cal. He's down in Melbourne, Florida.
Hello, Southern Cal from down under in Melbourne, Florida.
Yeah, nice. Welcome back, Jarvis. Thank you for joining us today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So before we kick into the new one, and John and I have dissected it, and we have a whole bunch of notes. This past spring, we had a chance to speak with an old friend of yours, Dave Overkill from Destructor. And he gave us a little insight about the Demon Night beer that's floating around Cleveland. Tell us a little bit about that. What's that all about?
Yeah, there's a Night Demon beer. It's made by a brewery called Goldhorn. It's the Darkness Remains IPA. It's very strong. It's like over 7%. We just did 2 nights in Cleveland back in September of last year, and they sold like 7 cases of this beer at the show. It got people pretty drunk pretty early. But yeah, we've always been a fan of doing all kinds of stuff like that. We have a hot sauce as well called Heavy Metal Heat from a company out in the Bay Area called Hella Hot Sauce. We have another beer called Beer of the Demon out of Casa Agria Brewery out of Oxnard, California. So we're always looking to do collabs and stuff whenever these food companies or beverage companies have a good idea and their heart is in metal. It's like, this stuff goes hand in hand, right? So we're no stranger to that, and we like just making cool art for it, and it's a cool thing to have.
Oh, sure. And it seems like everyone's reinventing their brand, either whiskeys or beers or Cal, what was that? You did a Metal Minute on Twisted Sister doing makeup or something?
Oh, yes, it was a palette by I believe Smashbox. Then they've done a whole bunch of different ones, and there was actually a Def Leppard one in there too.
Oh wow.
But I found that a lot of these bands, the making the money off of selling albums and your music has almost become obsolete in this business. And a lot of bands are looking at merchandise, and an offspring of that is the beer and the whiskey. Metallica, of course, has theirs. I just got my case of Rush beer a month ago. Special order, pre-order that stuff. Golden Ale. So, not that Rush needs the money, but, a lot of these bands are looking at other ways to bring in money to make a living doing this stuff, being that you're almost giving your music away now. There's no more record companies per se. There is, but there really isn't. Anybody can really go into their own studio and make their own recordings now. Spotify and things like that, outlets like that. It takes a while before you're going to make any money from those companies. So you can definitely understand the branching off and looking for different outlets for merchandising and things like that.
Is the beer any good?
The Rush beer is awesome.
No, the Night Demon beer.
Yeah.
Do you drink it, Jarvis?
I do. I think that both of them are pretty good.
Cool. Well, let's dive into the new one, Outsider. Third full length. Do I dare say a concept album? Tell us a little bit about it, the workings behind the scene.
Yeah, so our first 2 full lengths, they both started out as concept albums. They quickly veered off the tracks, and it's just such a difficult thing to do, to make a good one, and if it's not going to be good, then we're not going to really try and give it much of an attempt. I've written a few film scripts, and that's like kind of my passion outside of music is film and writing. And with this, when the pandemic hit, we had all this time. All of a sudden, we had time to do stuff, and we had some concepts floating around, and the stuff we were writing musically was a lot more dramatic and had a lot more dynamics. And we thought, hey, let's try and, I wrote another script and like, let's try and fit this music to the story and see if we can actually do something from start to finish. And we were successful in doing it. And it's the biggest, like, artistic statement that we've made so far. And yeah, I'm really, really proud of that fact. I'm not a big fan of concept albums.
Our guest today has definitely flown the flag
of
traditional heavy metal for well over 2 decades. Before we get in, let's talk about the imagery. The album released their third full-length LP called Outsider on March 17th.
Don Fury, who's done all of our album
to the show.
covers.
Jarvis
we have that kind of
cohesive
thing.
Jarvis,
we have the
welcome
same
back,
guy do all of the album covers.
Hey, good to see you guys.
He did it, and
I'd like you to say hello to our co-host tonight, Southern Cal. He's down in Melbourne, Florida.
Backstory.
Hello, Southern Cal from down
under
in Melbourne,
artwork,
Florida.
They're based on actual
Jarvis.
physical locations that do exist.
Absolutely,
and we just put our own stories behind them, much like a
into the new one. And John and I
it's the same scenario here. Everything you see on the album is based on a real physical place that I visited in Ireland. It's an abandoned church and graveyard that overlooks the sea and has this creepy road going up to it. So, we find these places, places that we've grown up around, and we kind of create these what if stories.
Yeah,
there's a Night Demon beer.
It's the cover of it.
Made by
an old church.
It brewery called Goldhorn.
Looks like a guy walking.
It's the Darkest Remains
church.
IPA. It's very strong.
It's
like over 7%.
Very
we just did
impressionable. So I guess
we just did 2 nights in Cleveland back in September of last year.
Concept album. Is there?
They sold like 7 cases of this beer at the show. They got people pretty drunk pretty early.
Yeah, all of it.
Yeah. But yeah,
it's not
been a fan of
a concept album. It is 100
doing all kinds of stuff like that. We have a hot sauce.
It's a $1,000,000% a concept album from the first
company
to the last
out in the Bay Area called Hella Hot Sauce.
Cool.
We have another beer called Beer of the Demon.
You want to lead off with a couple interpretations of some of the songs you dig?
Oxnard, California. So we're always looking to do collabs and stuff whenever these food companies or beverage companies have a good idea and their heart is in metal. It's like, this stuff goes hand in hand, right? So
I can read my notes.
We're no stranger to that. We like just
from the
making cool art for it, and it's a cool thing to have.
Just the feeling from listening to it.
It seems like everyone's
power band
reinventing their brand.
It sounded
whiskeys
like
or
you guys are
beers
just
or
hungry.
Cal, what was that? You did a Metal Minute on Twisted Sister
like
doing makeup or something?
Because you guys have been around for quite a while. But you can tell that hunger and that thirst for the metal is still there. Smashbox. Then they do. It felt like I got on a bunch of different rides, and there was actually a Def Leppard one in there too. Sick ride, and at the very end, because but I found that a lot of these bands, slower ending to that song, making the money off of bringing selling albums, gently music, just what is almost become definitely my favorite song on that. And a lot of bands are looking at merchandise.
Thank you so much. Yeah, that's
an offspring of that
is known for having short songs. This is a concept album that's under 35 minutes.
I just got my case of
entirety.
Rough a month ago.
The Wrath is one of our
special order,
the longest song in our catalog.
Golden Ale.
I know you're a big Rush guy, and as a three-piece band who's got a lot more
looking at other ways to bring in money to make a living.
We still like to make our songs pleasing to the ear. We're not more proggy now.
No more record
from a musician's standpoint.
Isn't.
We're more just kind of trying to
their own studio and make their own
expand the mind of the listener without toying with them, if that makes any sense.
Things like that.
My one critique of Rush is
it takes a while.
One of the reasons why they're not probably one of my favorite bands is I respect the hell out of them, but a lot of prog rock stuff, it gets you to about 90% of the satisfaction, and then the last 10%, they just they take you away into some where something that I'm
the Night Demon
crazy, but
do you
there's a formula of music. I think that both of them are pretty good, and for us to have. We always want to deliver that.
Let's dive into the new one, Outsider.
And I think that's really what we were trying to do with the song called The Wrath. It's long, but it's a journey. It takes you to so many different places, and it doesn't
really a little bit about it, the workings behind.
That's how I felt. Listening to that whole song.
Our first two full lengths, they both started out as
miles an hour, and then easing it into the driveway.
They quickly veered off the tracks.
Great song,
and it's just such a difficult thing to do. To make a good
about
one, and
the flip side of that is that 1-2 punch of rebirth
really try and
give beyond. These
give
two
it
songs,
much
3.5
of an
minutes.
attempt.
They get in, they get out. They kick your ass. What are my
I've
notes?
written a few film
Rebirth,
scripts,
Fast Rocker,
and
Dusty's
that's
drums
like kind of my
again,
passion
killer,
outside of music
and
is
In the
film
Pocket
and
with
writing.
Armand, and we'll talk about
And
those two cats in a
with
minute.
this, you know, when the pandemic hit, we had all this time. All of a sudden, we had time to do stuff.
Escape
and
from Beyond.
we had some concepts floating around, and the stuff we were
Reminds
writing
me of a
musically was a
Maiden
lot
Out
more
of the
dramatic and
Silent
had a lot more
Planet from
dynamics.
Brave New
and
World.
we thought,
The
hey, let's try
vocals
and
there. It's,
you know, I wrote another
and that's a
script and
compliment.
like, let's try
I
and
know
fit
you
this
guys are
music
big
to the
Maiden
story and see if we
fans.
can actually do
Are
something
we going to see these
from
songs in the
start to
set list?
finish.
Because
And
we're 3.5
we were
apiece.
successful in doing it. And
the
it's
idea
the
is
biggest,
we're
like,
going to play
you know,
5
artistic
tracks of
statement
this
that
album
we've
on
made
the
so
upcoming
far.
tour.
And
We're only playing 50
I'm
minutes
really,
a night on
really
this
proud
tour.
of
So
that fact.
we're going to
I'm not a
we're gonna
big
throw in
fan
some
of
classics,
concept
but
albums.
once we start doing headlining tours this summer,
I'm a big fan of
we're
going to
be playing the
and there's
album
not
in its
many.
entirety
No, there
from
isn't.
start to finish. See, the thing is,
Before
we
get
wrote
in, let's
we
talk
recorded
about
the album
imagery,
live,
the album cover.
and
It's awesome.
we wrote the album in a
who-
way
yeah,
where
who
there's
did
no
that?
silence and no
Wait,
breaks.
Dawn
It's
Fury
meant
is
as
one
one done
whole
all of our
piece to
album
be played
covers.
straight
We have
through.
that kind of
Mhm.
cohesive
So,
thing where we have the
um,
same guy do all of the album covers.
you know,
if we play this album
he
live
did
in
it,
its entirety
and you
during
know,
a lot of the stories that we write
we still
about
have
in this
room
band,
for
you know,
12
our
more Night Demon
mascots have a
classics.
backstory.
So
Because
and
our
all
songs
the-
are
all
short
the
to
stuff
the
you
point,
see in
so
our
I don't see it as a thing
they're
where
based on
you know,
actual
when Maiden
physical
went out,
locations
we did,
that do
A Matter of
exist,
Life and Death,
and
where
we
it's like,
just put
okay,
our
well,
own stories
you know,
behind
with
them,
the
much
length
like
of
a
their
H.P.
songs. I mean, it
Lovecraft
was a
movie or
great
something
record,
like this.
but like you're
And
really
it's the
leaving
same
a lot on the
scenario
table
here
for everything you
for the
see on the
fans,
album
and
is based on a
we
real
want to make
physical
sure
place
that you know
that
there's
I
no
visited in
misconception that
Ireland.
it's an
You're gonna
abandoned
go see
church
Night Demon
and
now, and they're just
graveyard
gonna
that
do
overlooks the
Jazz
sea
Odyssey
and has this
Volume
creepy
3,
road
you know,
going
it's like,
up to it. So
no, we're still,
you know, we
we're still
find
bringing
these
what we
places where
had.
there's
We're just this
places
is
that we've grown up around,
another
and we
addition
kind of
to
create
what we're
these
doing live. These what
Oh,
if
sure,
stories
and
about
I don't
them.
want to spoil too much of the set, the cover of it. As soon as I heard Prelude, it has looks like a guy walking from the church. This is like a hand is lit opener. You can totally feel it. Very eerie. It builds it up, and then you punch right into Outsider. Does that cover about Outsider? Is it seeing that this is like a sort of concept album? Is there elements of the comfort zone with that pertain to the story of the album? Little, dare I say,
and it's not
radio friendly, but it's
it
ballsy.
is 100
catchy chorus.
It's a
talk
million
about
percent
Outsider.
a concept album.
Well, I
from
haven't seen the radio
first
reports
to the
yet,
last,
but I
now.
hope somebody's up. You
All
know,
right, cool.
We'll see. I'll know.
I have
on
my
Monday, but,
my notes, John.
You know,
you want to lead off with a couple interpretations? Some
going
of the
back
songs
to
you
writing
did.
scripts. I see.
Oh, I can tell you my favorite
concepts
right
as
off the
more,
bat
in more of a
was The
cinematic
Wrath.
way.
I wrote
So when you look at things like that, it breaks down a lot of musical boundaries.
I'm going to have to
So
put my glasses
Outsider,
back on here.
Prelude is the intro.
So I can read my
That's
notes.
like
Just
the thing
so many
before the
notes on
movie
this
where you're
one,
like,
from the
whoa,
drums
something
and the
happens,
guitar.
right?
Yeah.
Outsider
gotta,
is like the opening credits or like the
feeling
theme
from
song.
listening to
okay,
it. It's a
so
three-piece
that's the
power
way
band.
that it's built, and then you really get into
sounded
the topsy
like you guys are just hungry
story, right? So
hungry
that's
stuff.
the way that I look at it, right there.
Like a new,
you know?
not a new band because you guys have been around.
Last
for
night at
quite a
work, I
while,
was,
but that you can tell
listening
that
to the
hunger and that
pre-release
thirst for the
stuff
metal
that you
is
guys
still
sent
there.
us,
And I
listening
just
to the whole album.
It felt like I got on.
I own my own
roller
restaurant.
ride.
I work in
We
a
took
kitchen.
off.
I got a bunch of metalheads working for
ride,
me.
and at the very
so
end,
I jam it up for them, and we all listen to it.
It's a slower
and I
ending to that
found
song.
myself.
It was like you were bringing
about
us
an
back
hour and a
down to
half
earth
after
gently.
we had listened to
Just what a
everything, and we're
great,
just doing
great
our
album.
thing.
Definitely
I
my
was
favorite
actually
song on
singing
that,
the
for
chorus
sure.
to that Outsider. It
Wow,
has a
thank
hook
you so
to
much.
it.
Yeah, that's you know that
Night Demon is known for
great
having
first
short
release
songs. This is a
from that
concept
album.
album that's under 35
like
minutes.
I said, I was singing
its
the hook.
entirety.
It has the hook to it.
The
So,
Wrath is one of
when
our
you find
is our
yourself
the
something,
longest song in our catalog.
Thank you so much.
No,
I mean, I like. To
I
think
know
that
you're a big
all-
Rush guy.
Most
and,
of the songs on this
as a
record kind of
three-piece
have
band
that
who's gotten a
hook.
lot
For
more
some pretty
progressive,
big
like
choruses.
Night Demon has.
Outsider's a song where
we still like to make our songs.
What's different about it is we start
pleasing
right on
to
the
the
chorus.
ear.
It hits
We're
right
not
away.
we're
So
not
it's
more
like
proggy
we wanted to
now
just get
as
to the
a-
point.
from a
you know,
musician's
Definitely.
standpoint.
It got to
We're
the point.
more just kind of
Not
trying
to
to
jump ahead on the finish line.
expand the
last
mind
track.
of the listener without
you
toying
come
with
off
them,
that
if that makes any
whirlwind
sense.
of
My one critique of Rush
long
is,
song,
and one of the reasons
The
why they're
Wrath,
not
then the last day.
probably one of my favorite.
Okay, so
bands
listen,
is,
let me
I
clarify
respect
this
the hell
first.
out of them, but
The Last Day
a lot
is
of prog
a
rock
bonus
stuff.
track.
It gets you to
for
about
the
90%
disc
of the
version
satisfaction,
only.
and then
It's
the last top part of
10%,
this album.
they just they
take you away.
It got
served
into
some
the promos
where something that a
as
musician
that.
will go, whoa,
and
that was
people
totally
think
crazy.
that
But,
because
the song is called The Last Day. I guess it would make sense,
satisfying
right?
to the
The
ear,
story of
and
that
for us
song
to
is
have
Decibel
we always want to
Magazine
deliver
put out
that
a Flexi
payoff.
vinyl series
And
last year.
I think that's
They
really
asked
what
us
we
to
were
do
trying
an
to do with the
exclusive
song called The
song.
Wrath. It's
They
long,
wanted a 6
but
month
it's a
exclusive
journey.
on
It
it.
takes
We
you to
wrote
so
that
many different
song
places that
about
it doesn't
like the
repeat
last day
itself.
on Earth.
And
Is the premise of
that's
that
how
song.
I felt that listening
And
to that whole
it's never
song.
been
It
out
was
on
just like
compact
being on a
disc. The
sick
fans really
ride
like it,
at
and
100 miles an hour.
it's basically a way
easing it
for the
into
record company
driveway
to sell
coming home.
more of a dying format.
Great
You know, you
song.
put that
Well, it
bonus
is long,
track on there.
7.5 minutes.
There you
But
go. Right.
You
So
talk
I want
about
to clarify that.
the flip side of
makes
that is that
sense,
1-2
because
punch
honestly,
of Rebirth and Escape
I'm like,
from Beyond.
man,
You just got
these
done
two
with
songs,
that
3.5
song, minutes. They,
and then
they
this
get
one
in,
just
they
like
get
it
out.
almost like starts
they
up
kick your
again.
ass.
And
What are
it's
my
like,
notes?
eh.
Rebirth.
You know, the
fast
sequence
sequencing wasn't right, but
Dusty's
makes drums
sense.
again.
Yeah,
Killer.
yeah. Some people
in the
that have
pocket
heard
with
some
Armand,
journalists that
and
have
we'll
heard
talk
it
about
that
those
did
two
think it was
cats in a
last track
minute.
actually liked
Could
that.
see
They
this in
liked
the
that it
live
went into
set.
that. But
And
look,
Escape
it's all
from
open to
Beyond.
interpretation, right? But that's the real story. So
Reminds me of a
that's
Maiden
null
Out of
and
the
void to the
Silent
outsider
Planet
story,
from Brave
that
New
song,
World.
you know?
The vocals
I thought
there,
the
it's,
drums on
and that's a
that
compliment.
were fucking
I know you
Yeah.
guys are big Maiden fans.
Dusty
Are we
was
going to
just
see these
nailing
songs in the
fills
set
and
list?
everything
Because
in
they're
that.
3.5 apiece.
That was my big
Talk about
note
these-
on that song.
The idea is we're
drumming
going to play 5
from
tracks
Dusty.
of this album
Is that
on the
Dusty
upcoming
Shoes?
tour. We're only playing
The
50
one you call
minutes a
Dusty
night on
Shoes?
this tour. So
Dusty
we're going
Squires.
to throw in
Dusty
some
Squires.
classics.
I thought you had mentioned
once
the
we
last
start
time we
doing
talked
headlining
about
tours
someone
this
you were
summer,
calling Dusty Shoes.
we're going to be playing the
No, I
album in its
think
entirety
Dave would-
from
Dave
start to finish. See, the thing is,
Overkill
we
called
wrote
them
the
Dusty
we
That's
Shoes.
recorded
right.
the album
That's
live,
right.
and
That's
Yeah,
right.
that
we
guy
wrote
loves
the
you,
album
man.
in a way
Dusty
where
Bottoms,
there's
Dusty
no
Shoes.
silence and no
He's
breaks.
great.
It's meant as
Um,
one whole piece to
Talk
be
about
played straight
the new
through.
relationship with
So,
Armand. Now,
you know,
in
if
the
we play
previous
this album
albums, he
live
really
in its
didn't
entirety
write. Is
during
this
a
the first
headlining
album that he
set,
contributed
we
writing
still have
with?
room for 12 more Night Demon classics.
On the singles
So,
that we put out in
because our songs are
2020,
short and to the
he
point. So
kind of-
I don't see it as
those
a thing
were
where,
kind of the
you know, when
first
Maiden
songs
went
that
out
we
and did
wrote
A Matter of Life
together
and Death,
with
where it's like,
him.
okay,
So,
well, you
he
know,
had
with the length of
4
4
tracks
songs
under
I
his
mean, it
belt.
was a great record.
But you know, I
like,
mean,
you're really
he's been
leaving
part
a
of the
lot
story
on the
from the
table
beginning.
for the
He was
fans,
the
and
engineer.
we want to make
producer
sure that
from the
you
first
know, there's
EP
no misconception
on, so
that you're
he's
gonna
always
go see
been
Night
part of the
Demon now,
story
and you're
in the
just gonna
background, you know,
do Jazz
and
Odyssey.
he wrote
Volume 3.
He
you know,
helped
it's
write
like,
a lot of the guitar
no, we're
solos
still
in
we're
the
still
early
bringing what we
days,
had. We're just
and
this
some
is
clean guitar
another
passages.
addition
really,
to what
he doesn't
we're
get
doing
enough
live.
credit for that, and
Oh,
that's
sure,
not well
and
known.
I don't want to
so,
spoil too
I'm
much
glad
of the
to
set.
shine a light
but
on that here.
As soon as I heard,
Yeah, well,
Prelude,
you know,
I'm like, getting into the whole back.
Of course, this is like a
history of the
concert
band.
opener.
But him
You
and
could totally feel
Dusty,
it.
you know,
during
and
a
it
band
builds it up,
before
and then you punch right into
that, and
Outsider.
Dusty
took over for
Let's
the
talk about
original
Outsider.
drummer, and
So you're right.
It's
Are you out of your
he's always been
comfort
around
zone
with that song.
It's funny when you
It's,
break down the
uh,
history of bands and band
little,
members, like you see how
dare I
incestuous
say,
things are and how
you know,
things move
radio
along
friendly,
like this,
but
you
it's
know. But it's the
catchy
same old story
chorus.
with us, man.
Yeah.
Talk about Outsider.
Talk about the tour.
Well, I haven't
Starts,
seen the radio
the
reports
17th,
yet, but I hope somebody's
the Hell's Decibel tour.
We'll see.
with,
I'll know on
Satan.
Monday. But
Now, when
yeah,
we spoke with
you know,
Armand last in the spring,
I
we were doing,
going
some
back to
press for
writing
the
scripts,
singles
I
collection.
see
He said there was a tour
concepts
that
as
had to
more,
get
in more of a
scrapped.
cinematic
Why
way.
Satan?
So
You
when you
guys
when you
don't
look
share
at
a
things like
label?
that, it breaks down
Are
a
you
lot of musical
big time
boundaries.
friends? How did
So
that tour
Outsider,
stay
the Prelude is the intro.
intact?
That's
and
like the
finally
thing before
executed?
the movie where you're like,
I
whoa,
managed
something happens, right?
Yeah.
Outsider is like the opening credits or like the theme
that's the
song.
easiest way
okay?
to put it.
So that's
and, you
the
know,
way
the
that
thing
it's
is,
built, and then
like,
you really
we've
get
been
into
friends
the
topsy-turvy
long before I
of the-
managed. I've been managing them
story,
since
right? So
2018.
that's the
But
way that I
long
look at
before
it right
that,
there,
we
you
were
know?
friends, and we had played together many
Last night
times
at
on
work,
many
I
festivals
was
in Europe. And
listening to the
you know, the thing
pre-release
is,
stuff that
when
you guys
you
sent
are
us, listening to the whole album.
these days,
I own my own restaurant. I work
it's
in a
much
kitchen.
easier
I
to
got
keep things
bunch of
together and to
metalheads working for
strengthen
me.
tours like
so I
this
jam it up
when
for them, and
you
we all
have a
listen
hand
to it.
in
And I
what
found
other
myself
bands are
about
doing.
an
So
hour and a half.
It's kind of like
after
keeping
we
the
had listened
family
to
together,
everything, and we're just doing
and
our
we
thing.
all together
was
are
actually
stronger
singing
than
the chorus
apart,
to
right?
that
And so
outsider. It
we
has
have a
to
way
it.
of
Great,
of
great
making
first
things a
release
lot more successful.
that
Like
album.
when we band
And like I
resources
said, I
together.
was
I
singing
mean,
the
my
hook. It has
the
the
road
hook
crew for
to
Night
it.
Demon.
So when you find
I
yourself singing
hire for
something,
every Satan tour.
Thank
when
you so
they're
much. I mean,
available
I like
when
to
we're
think
not
that
on tour. So
all-
this is great.
most
We
of
get
the
to share
songs
a
on the
crew
record
now.
kind of have
We're
that hook.
sharing
We
a
went
tour
for
bus
some pretty
together.
big choruses,
You know,
and
Outsiders.
it's the best thing that we could do. And
what's different about
this
it
tour
is
was
we
supposed to
start
happen
right
in
on
the
the
spring of
chorus. It hits
2020.
right
So
away.
I really did
So
hang
it's like,
on to it.
we wanted to
We
just
didn't
get to the
reschedule
point,
it,
you know,
even once. We
Definitely.
went one of those
It
tours
got to
that
the point.
rescheduled 4
Not to
times.
jump
and then,
ahead on the finish
you know,
line.
retire.
The last
So
track.
So
you come
like,
off that
this is,
whirlwind.
this is an important
of the long song. Oh, go ahead, John. Wrath.
If there was one band I would never
Okay, so
have
listen, let me
expected to
clarify
come
this
here and
first.
tour in America,
The
it
Last
would be
Day is
Satan.
a bonus
I
track
love that band.
for the compact
Right?
disc
Great
version
band.
only.
And I'm
It's
so
not
glad
part
you're
of
bringing
this
them over
album.
here. I was
And
familiar
I
that
think
you had
it got serviced on the
involvement with them.
promos as that.
And
And
again,
people
you
think that
present it
because
as a
this
united
song is
front
called The Last
for
Day.
you
I guess it
guys,
would make
and,
sense, right?
I'm
The
going
story
to
of that
try
song
to
is
check out the
Decibel
Cleveland
Magazine
show.
put out a
Unfortunately,
flexi
there's no
vinyl series
shows down
last year.
in the
They
southeast
asked us to
area.
do an exclusive song. They
But
wanted
just
a
to see
6-month exclusive
not
on
only
it.
Night
We
Demon
wrote that
alone,
song about
to
like
see
the last
Satan
day
of
on
all
Earth
bands.
is the premise of
That's
that
like
song.
one of those. That's
And
rarefied
it's
air
never been out
here
on
in
compact
America.
disc. The
And I
fans
wish
really
more
like
bands
it.
from
And
over there would
it's
try to get
basically a
over
way
here and
for the
do
record
some
company
touring.
to sell
Well,
more
it
of
takes
a dying format.
It takes a commitment,
you
and
put
it takes,
that bonus.
I mean, I'm
track
not
on
tooting
there.
my own horn, but
sometimes it
there
takes
you
somebody
go,
like
right?
me
So I want to clarify
like
that.
there's a lot of
That
work
makes
that I put
sense,
into this,
because
right? So
honestly,
it takes a commitment
I'm like,
from
you
multiple
just
people,
got done
and
with that
that's
song,
and then it takes the
and then
band
this
to
one
commit
just
to
like
doing it.
it
And the
almost
great thing
like
about them
starts
is
up again,
you have the
and it's
same
like,
five guys from the
the
1983
sequencing wasn't
Court
right,
in
but
the
it makes
Act era.
sense.
I mean, it's incredible. I
Some people
can't
that
say
have
that
heard it,
about
some
any
journalists
band
that have heard it
from that
did think
era
it was Last Track
has actually
even,
liked
I don't
that.
know, more
They
than
liked
two,
that it
one
went
or
into
two
that.
members still
But
left.
Look,
You got
it's all open to interpretation, right?
So
But that's the real story.
If you
So
can
that's-
catch it, get it now.
That's null and void to the outsider.
Yeah, definitely going to
story,
try to
that
make
song,
a Cleveland
you know?
show.
Yeah,
Jarvis,
that'll be
we're
great.
thought the
respectful
drums
of your
on that
time.
were-
You know, you got a tight
fucking sick.
schedule. Quickly, just talk about the
Dusty was
third
just
band,
nailing
Haunt,
the
on
fills
the
and
bill.
everything in that.
Yeah, they're on
That
my
was my
label.
big note on that.
They
that
are
song.
great.
Great,
As far as
great
the new wave
drumming
of traditional heavy
from
metal
Dusty.
goes, they're
Is that
definitely
Dusty
in the top
Shoes?
5 bands.
The one you
They
call
put
Dusty
out-
Shoes?
They were putting out like
Dusty
2 records a
Squires.
year.
Dusty
You know, they've only
Squires.
been
I
around
thought you
since
had
I think
mentioned the last time we
2017,
talked
but
about someone you
they're
were calling
very
Dusty
prolific
Shoes.
and
I think
really,
Dave
really
would-
kick-ass
Dave
band. It's a
Overkill
fair
calls
that's
them
right.
Dusty
That's right.
Shoes.
That's right.
Cool. And your
That's
brand,
right.
that guy
Century
loves you,
Media?
man. That's
Dusty
you.
Bottoms, Dusty Shoes.
No, Century Media is the
He's
label that
great.
Night Demon is signed to. My label
Talk
is
about
Iron
the
Grip,
new relationship
and
with
I just
Armand.
do,
Now, in the previous
just
albums,
heavy
he really
metal
didn't
releases
write. Is
that
this
I
the
love.
first
A
album
lot
that
of
he contributed
reissues and
writing
stuff
with?
of classic
Yeah,
records and like just
on
newer
the
bands.
singles
And
that we put
back
out in
catalog
2020,
that bands that I manage.
he
Just kind of
those were
doing
kind of
my
the
small
first
songs
songs
that
here.
we wrote
You are doing your
together
part,
with
but
him. So
that's awesome.
he
So
had
I'm
4
gonna let
tracks under
John
his
take a
belt.
quick walk
But
down heavy
I mean,
metal memory lane
he's been
with
a
you,
part of
and
the
then,
story from the
we'll let you
beginning.
get going,
He
but
was the
John,
engineer and
you have a
producer
few
from
thoughts
the
with-
first
with
EP
Jarvis.
on. So he's
Well, first of all,
he's
I
always
just
been
wanna,
part of the story.
wish you
in
the best of luck
background,
on this tour.
and he
with
wrote a
Satan and
lot.
Haunt.
He helped write a lot of the
Thank
guitar
you
solos
again for
in the
bringing
early
them over
days,
here.
and
I'm going to try to catch
some
that
clean
Cleveland
guitar
show.
passages. So really,
Heavy metal
he doesn't
needs
get
more
enough
people
credit
like
for
you
that.
and
And
Jarvis
that's not well
doing
known.
these things.
So
You're just
I'm glad
you're
to
flying
shine
that
a light
flag
on
24
that.
hours a day.
Yeah,
It's
well,
great for us
the
fans.
not getting into the whole
And
back
the industry
history
itself.
of the band, but him and
I think the last time we
Dusty
talked, we did talk a
were in a
little bit
band
about Angel
before
Witch. One
that,
of
and
my most
Dusty
favorite
took over
bands.
for
Do you
the
still
original
still
drummer,
managing
and
them? Are you still
yeah, so
involved
you're right.
with
It's
them?
he's always been
I've
around.
never managed them.
It's funny when you break down the
clear.
history of bands and band members.
Like
Did
you see how
re-release the first
incestuous things are and how
record,
things move
last
along
year.
like this, But it's
Or sorry,
same old
2021.
story with us. I'm close with
talk about the tour.
band.
Starts
the bass player who is their manager, Will Palmer,
the Hell's
is
Decibel
actually
tour with
Night Demon's UK
Satan.
publicist.
Now, when we spoke with
heavy metal
Armand
world
last in the spring, when we were doing some press
it's worldwide,
for the,
but it's very
singles
tight
collection,
and connected, and like we
he
all
said
wear
there
a lot
was
of
a
hats,
tour that had
so
to get scrapped.
there's
Why
Will Palmer
Satan?
is another kind of
you guys don't
Jarvis
share
in
a
his
label,
own right
are you
in his world.
big
He's
time
got a
friends?
label
How did
too,
that tour
and he works for
stay,
Metal Blade, and he's the one who got Angel Witch
intact
back
and finally
together, and he plays
execute?
with them on stage.
I
And he's a
manage
great
them.
publicist, so it's
Oh,
like
okay.
we're all kind of
So that's the
kind of
easiest way to
involved
put it.
together at
And,
some
you know,
point down the
thing
line.
is,
It's
like,
inevitable.
we've
The ones
been
that
friends
stick around and the ones that
long
are going
before
out
I
and
managed. I've been
blazing
managing
new
them since
trails. We all
2018.
end up
But
congregating
long
and finding
before
each other's
that, we were
finding some way
friends
to
and
work
we had
together.
played together many
And it's
times
really
on
great
many
because
festivals
in Europe, and
when you grow up,
you know, the thing is being
when
inspired
you
by
are-
something and then you can be a part of
these
their story
days,
at some point. It's
that's
much
the
easier to
gratifying
keep
thing for
things
me,
together
you know?
and to strengthen
There's another guy
tours
too,
like this
and when I have
you
a
have
little
a
segment
hand
in the
in
show, it's called the Metal
what
Minute. We
other
present some
bands
news
are doing.
stories.
So it's
And
kind of like
every now
keeping
and
the
then at the
family
end of
together.
that, I like
And
to
we
pose
all
the question,
together are stronger than
has anybody
apart, right?
seen
And
or
so
heard anything?
we
And we
have a
offer
way
reward of
of
a Metal Mayhem
of
ROC t-shirt
making
to our
things a lot
listener,
more
anybody with
successful. Like when we
information.
band resources together. I mean, the road crew for Night Demon,
WITCHFINDER General.
I hire for every Satan tour when they're available when we're not on tour. So in late 2021, now with we're sharing a tour bus potential opportunity to sing for the band. It's the best thing that we could do. And this was sing for this tour was supposed to happen in the spring of 2020. So I really did. Somebody had asked me. Somebody said, "Hey, I know you can pull off those even once." We weren't one of those tours that rescheduled. So I was in touch with the original guitarist. So, and like this is an important one. He is not involved at all anymore and hasn't for a long time. If
there was one band I would never have expected to come here and tour in America, it would be Satan.
Charges. I'm not going to say what it is, but he was kind of the first one to be canceled.
I'm so glad
20 years ago, right?
Over here, I was familiar that you had
I'll give you one piece of information that you probably don't know, and not a lot of people know. For the past decade, the band rehearses weekly.
I'm going to try to check out the Cleveland show. Unfortunately, there's no shows down in the southeast area. But just to see
in the last year,
not only Night Demon,
a mutual friend of mine,
to see Satan of all bands, that's
a
like
five-figure
that's rarefied air
guarantee
here in America.
In the high,
and I wish five bands
too
from over there would
higher than the first level
over here and
not
do
say how
some touring
to reunite. It takes you play a show. It takes a commitment, and it takes. It's been. I mean, I'm not to my own horn, but I think they're just somebody like me weekly for the last decade. Like fun, there's a lot of work that I've put into that offers on the table, and it takes a commitment from multiple people, and and then it takes the band
interesting
doing it. And the great thing about them
this fall,
you have the same five guys from the
we promoted and
Court
brought
in the Act
Raven to Rochester.
I mean, it's incredible. I can't say that about any band from that.
It was a great show. We had a couple strong locals.
I don't know, more than one or two members still
came
left.
Out.
That you got
at it,
band,
and I was going to reach out, possibly get
if you can catch it, get it now.
Rochester, and there was just no wiggle.
Definitely going to try to make the.
You guys are
show.
playing every single. Jarvis, we're respectful of your time. You know, you got a tight schedule. So if you're just talking about the third band, we'd love to get you on the bill. See what happens.
Yeah, they're on my. We haven't been there. We played the Bug Jar. They are great as far as the new wave traditional heavy metal goes. No, 20 definitely in the top 5 bands.
They put out the Vernomatic.
They were putting out like 2 records a year. You know, they've only been around since I think 2017. But they're very prolific and really kick-ass band. That was our first strong pack. Our first full U.S. tour.
Cool. And your brand, Century Media?
We've played about 60 plus shows. Century Media is the label that Night Demon is signed to. My label is Iron Grip.
And Mark Gallagher's birthday yesterday. So
happy birthday, Mark. Heavy metal releases that.
John, a lot of reissues before we let him get
classic records and just newer bands. Thank you guys for back catalog that bands that I manage do this together. Just kind of with strength and numbers. Doing my small part here. You know,
you are doing your part.
If you guys can, please email me audio and video for this interview if you can.
We'd like to reuse some of it for our podcast. That's we'll let you get going. Of course, why don't after we say goodbye, stay on and we'll exchange emails.
Well, first of all, I just want to wish you the best of luck on this tour.
Jarvis,
Haunt.
Thank you again
for bringing
doing
them
this
over
tour
here.
and sticking with it. Satan is
show.
huge. Night
Heavy
Demon
metal
Haunt.
needs more people like you in it,
just
Jarvis,
an awesome
doing
tour.
these things.
Best of luck and everything. That starts on March 17th.
24 hours
runs
a day.
till
It's
April
great
11th.
for us fans.
Like I said, I'm going to definitely try to catch that Cleveland show. That's probably the only one that's doable for me.
I think the last time we talked, we did talk a little bit about Angel Witch. One of my most favorite bands.
All right, thanks, Jarvis. Take care.
Still managing them? Are you still involved with them?
Yeah, I've never managed them to be clear. I did re-release the first record last year, or sorry, in 2021. I'm close with the band. The bass player who is their manager, Will Palmer, is actually Night Demon's UK publicist. Yeah, I mean, the heavy metal world it's worldwide, but it's very tight and connected. And like we all wear a lot of hats, you know, so there's Will Palmer is another kind of Jarvis in his own right in his world. He's got a label too. And he works for Metal Blade. And he's the one who got Angel Witch back together. And he plays with them on stage. And he's a great publicist. So it's like, you know, we're all kind of involved together at some point down the line. It's inevitable. The ones that stick around and the ones that are going out and blazing new trails, we all end up congregating and finding each other and finding some way to work together. And it's really great because when you grow up being inspired by something and then you can be a part of their story at some point, that's the most gratifying thing for me, you know.
So another guy too, and when I have a little segment in the show, it's called the Metal Minute. We present some news stories, and every now and then at the end of that, I like to pose the question, has anybody seen or heard anything? And we offer a reward of a Metal Mayhem ROC t-shirt to our listener, anybody with information about Zeeb Parks.
So,
Witchfinder General.
Yeah, right. So I was actually approached in late 2021 with the potential opportunity to sing for the band. I did sing for Jaguar for a while, which was great. And somebody had said, hey, I know you can pull off those Witchfinder vocals. And I go, well, hold on, So I was in touch with the original guitarist, and Zeeb he is not involved at all anymore and hasn't for a long time. He's around. Supposedly he's had some kind of criminal charges. I'm not going to say what it is, but he was kind of the first one to be canceled like 20 years ago. Right.
Yeah.
I'll give you one piece of information that you probably don't know and not a lot of people know. For the past decade, the band, I think, rehearses weekly.
Wow.
But I have offered them in the last year through a mutual friend of mine, a 5-figure guarantee in the higher 5 figures too. So higher than the first level. I'm not going to say how much, to reunite and to play a show. And it's that I think they're just jamming weekly for the last decade to have fun. They don't want to play gigs. So that offer is on the table. And if you guys are listening, you know how to get a hold of me.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because this fall, Metal Mayhem ROC, we promoted and brought Raven to Rochester. Raven and Riot Act. And it was a great show. We had a couple strong locals. And when the itinerary came out, I looked at it and I was going to reach out to possibly get you to, Rochester. And there was just no wiggle room. You guys are playing every single night. But that led me. So if you're talking about, possibly, we'd love to get you up here. We'll see what happens.
Come back. We haven't been there. We played the Bug Jar in 2016. That's the last time we were there. No, 2015.
I went down into the Vernomatic's vault and I brought out this exterminator tour. This was in Syracuse.
Yep. That was our first full US tour. Raven took us out on our first tour. So we've played about 60 plus shows with them worldwide to date, and they're still close friends of ours. So
yeah, it's Mark Gallagher's birthday yesterday. So
happy birthday, Mark.
So John, any parting shots before we let him get going?
No. Thank you guys for also flying the flag high. We all do this together, and with strength in numbers, that's how we win. I will ask you, if you guys can, please email me audio and video for this interview if you can. We'd like to reuse some of it for our podcast, if that's possible.
Of course. Why don't, after we say goodbye, stay on and we'll exchange emails, because I don't have any of it. So, John, anything to say to Jarvis before he goes?
Jarvis, just thank you again for doing this tour and sticking with it. Satan is it's huge. Night Demon, Haunt. Just an awesome tour. Best of luck on everything. That starts on March 17th and runs till April 11th. Like I said, I'm going to definitely try to catch that Cleveland show. That's probably the only one that's doable for me. So hopefully we'll see the best.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Jarvis. Take care.
Thanks.